In this video tutorial, I will explain how countries decide what to specialize in a simple Ricardian model of trade. We will start off with a setup that is similar to the one that we saw in class. There are two countries in this stylized world. There is home and foreign. They can produce either wheat or cloth. These numbers here are marginal products of labor because labor is the only input that can be used in the production of wheat and cloth, and both countries have the following units of labor, 30 and 20. In this setup, home can produce maximum of 30 times 5, which is equal to 150 units of clothes. How about wheat? If home uses all 30 units of labor to produce wheat, 30 times 4 equals 120. 120. The line connecting those two lines will be home ppf. The slope of this line will be negative 5 divided by 4. This slope, or rather absolute value of it, is also the opportunity cost of production of wheat at home. How do I know? It's because to produce 4 units of wheat, home needs to use 5 units of clothes. So therefore, home needs to give up 5 units of cloth to produce 4 units of wheat. In other words, the opportunity cost of wheat at home is marginal product of labor in the production of cloth divided over marginal product of labor in the production of wheat. Let's remember this formula. Now, home has two ways that it can use labor to get wheat. One is just to make it directly, and second, it can also produce cloth and then trade it for wheat at the world market and at the world price. Let's consider first how much labor will be used to produce wheat directly. If home chooses to produce wheat directly, 1 unit of labor will be able to produce 4 units of wheat, which means that 1 unit of wheat will use up, or can be produced using 1 over 4 units of labor, or 1 divided over marginal product of labor in the production of wheat. What about if home decides to produce cloth and trade for wheat? Well, in that case, domestic labor will be used to produce cloth, and 1 unit of labor will be able to produce 5 units of cloth. That cloth can be sold in the world market at the price of cloth, whatever that price might be. It's not given here, so we're going to write it in general terms, just price of cloth. Now, all that money then can be used to buy wheat. So this expression tells us how much wheat can be bought by employing 1 unit of labor that can make 5 units of cloth and then selling it at the world market at the price of cloth. Note that this can also be rewritten as the marginal product of labor in the production of cloth times price of cloth and divided over price of wheat. So this is how much wheat 1 unit of labor can produce. Well, to determine how much labor will be used to produce 1 unit of wheat, all we need to do is we need to take 1 and divide it by this whole expression, because it tells us how much wheat 1 unit of labor can produce. 1 divided by MP L of cloth times price of cloth. Divide this whole thing over price of wheat. Now this ugly fraction can be rearranged to just look like this: 1 over marginal product of labor in the production of cloth times, notice that this price of wheat from the denominator of the denominator moves into the numerator, price C. Now that we have determined how much labor home will use to produce wheat directly and to get wheat by producing cloth and selling it in the world market, now we can combine those two and come up with a decision rule when home country will choose to produce wheat. Well, it will choose to produce wheat when the amount of labor that it needs to use up to produce wheat, I just took this number and put it here, is smaller than the amount of labor that it needs to use to produce cloth that will be traded then for wheat. Now, notice we can multiply both sides of this inequality, but by marginal product of labor in the production of cloth. That way, we just get marginal product of labor in the production of cloth divided over marginal product of labor in the production of wheat is smaller than price of wheat divided over price of cloth. This inequality has a very intuitive interpretation. Notice this term here on the left is simply the opportunity cost of wheat. What about the term on the right? That's just the relative price of wheat in the world markets. This inequality simply states that if home can produce wheat at a lower opportunity cost than what it would cost to get wheat from the world market, home will specialize in the production of wheat. And this is the statement of the law of comparative advantage in the most general form.